Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is Mac Reviews. I'm your messy internet cousin Mac. If you love trashy reality TV, this is the show for you. Today we are talking about 90 Day Fiance Season 10, Episode 1, 10 seasons of this train wreck show. Wow. I've been watching this show since season 6. That was 2019, I believe. So the season of Colty and Larissa and Mama Debbie. Um, who else were we introduced to that season? I don't remember who else, but yeah. Oh, Ashley and Jay, I believe. So yeah. So let's get into it. I'm gonna talk first about Ashley and Manuel. So Ashley's from Rochester, New York. Manuel is from Ecuador. She is 32, he is 35. So this is interesting. This couple actually met like almost 10 years ago. They met in Ecuador. She went on a, I guess, study abroad trip with her school, with her biology class, and he asked her to dance at like a party or something, and they had a whirlwind romance. They were smashing, and I think he proposed to her after a week, which is crazy, but you know, this makes sense for this show. Sounds about right. So, um, so they tried to do the long distance thing, but it didn't work out. So now she said it's 7 years later. I don't know if it was 7 or 10 years, but 5 plus years later, um, she came out of a breakup from a long-term relationship and he just randomly reached out to her. So she went to see him during the pandemic. She went to see him in September of 2020, which says a lot about her feelings for him. It was quite risky to travel at that time. The pandemic was raging at that time. So, I mean, thank God she didn't get COVID, he didn't get it, and they quarantined together. And he proposed to her again. I forgot he had, yeah, I said that they had gotten engaged. So he proposed again and she accepted it. So Ashley also, I didn't mention yet, identifies as a witch. I don't know what that means. Um, but she says she does tarot card reading. She believes in astrology. It's interesting because we have met a couple other people on this show who said they do those things and they didn't call themselves witches. But 'cause I don't know. I mean, there's people who believe in astrology and tarot card reading and they don't identify as witches, but I don't really know what being a witch means. Um, Kimberly from this current season of 90 Day the Other Way says she does tarot card reading, um, and said that she's clairvoyant and a bunch of other clairs. And then uh oh my gosh, I don't remember her. Ella from Montana from the what season was that? Was that the regular 90 Day? I don't remember which show it was, but I think she said I think she said she was a witch. But anyways, so the reason why this is relevant because the reason this is relevant is because apparently Manuel may not, I don't think he's aware of this about her. I think she told him, but she hasn't really explained what it means. And I think he's Catholic. So we'll see if this becomes a plot issue. It may not, because with Ella, it wasn't really a part of it didn't end up mattering really. And then with Kimberly, it didn't matter either. So I don't even know if we're gonna hear about this again, but we'll see. So she also said something. She said that she would consider Manuel to be a fuckboy. And so she said he was like that in his 20s. He's not so much now in his 30s. And I'm kind of like, well, if you're marrying him, I hope he's not like that at all. Because fuckboys don't make good husbands. So they tend to not be husband material. So yeah. I feel like Ashley is just taking a chance on love. It seems like she is just going on vibes. I don't know. I think she just doesn't want to do long distance again. I don't see why this guy would be a husband. I don't really see what about him makes him attractive to be a life partner. I mean, I can see there's physical attraction between them and they probably have good sexual chemistry from what she told us, but I don't. I don't see what else makes him a husband so far, but this is the first episode. We haven't even met him yet. Apparently, he hasn't told his mom that he's moving to the US to get married. He told her that he was traveling for work because apparently he's a construction worker, and in Ecuador, sometimes construction workers can do contracts apparently and go to other parts of the country to work for months at a time. So it sounds like he just told her that. And I'm kind of like, why did you not tell your mother you're moving to another country? That's crazy. This is the same thing that Thais did. She's from Brazil, but she's not Latina, but she did the same thing with her dad. She didn't tell him she was moving to the US, which is wild. Like, I mean, I know we're all adults, but my God, you can't tell your parent that you're moving to another country. If they disagree, they disagree. You're still an adult, you're grown. So So yeah, she's, a little concerned, of course. She's talking to her friends. She's got her gay best friends there, and I was glad she did because usually gay best friends tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. And they were doing that. They were asking her questions. I mean, they weren't telling her it's not going to work out, but they were definitely showing their concerns and asking questions. He, again, does know that she does tarot card reading, but I don't think he understands the extent of it. And so she is a little concerned about that. The friends are like, yeah, what if he is just coming here for a better life? What if he does just want to use you? And she's acknowledging, yeah, I mean, that could be possible. So, I mean, she's not blind to the reality of the situation, which I think is good. She's not like putting her head in the sand like an ostrich. I like Ashley so far. I mean, let me not say I like anyone from first episode. I usually don't do that, but we'll see what happens with Ashley. But she definitely, to me, is going off vibes. I don't think that this is really based on anything other than I really like him and I enjoy sex with him, which, hey, that's important, but it's not enough to marry somebody. You can date a bunch of people and those two things can be there, but that doesn't mean they are fit to be a spouse. So the other thing I want to talk about is the fact that they started the season with her having a panic attack. And this is what I don't like about 90 Day Fiance. There's things that I do like about this show, but what I don't like is a lot of times they put things that are not appropriate to be on camera, that are not entertaining or funny sometimes. For the most part, it's entertaining, but moments like this are not appropriate. I don't think this should have been on camera. It was very alarming as a viewer to watch someone having a panic attack. It's not entertainment. What do they want? I don't know what they were expecting us to feel watching this. I didn't like it. Um, it was a little concerning because she was driving, and then it sounded like there were honks, but I don't think those were real. I think they may have edited those in. I didn't even think about it at first because I was so disturbed by what I was seeing. And then I listened to other reviews and people were like, I don't think those were real. And I wouldn't put it past these producers to do that. It's so ridiculous. So yeah, so we'll see when um Manuel gets there. The reason she was having the panic attack, by the way, is because she couldn't get a hold of him. She wasn't sure if he had gotten to the US. He had like three flights. He had a flight from where he was to Guayaquil, which I don't know, it must be a big city in Ecuador, and then from there to Miami, and then from Miami to New York. Um, and I mean, I'm pretty sure he probably doesn't have service when he got to Miami. I think he'll be okay because I've flown in and out of the MIA, and there's a lot of people who speak Spanish who work at the airport, so I think he'll be all right. So, um, and I would venture to guess there's people who speak Spanish at the airport he's going to in New York as well. Latin people tend to live in New York and Miami, so I think he'll be all right. But I just think that he probably doesn't have service. So anyways, okay. Next, next couple we're gonna talk about is Sophie and Rob, who um they're a little interesting, but there's definitely some inconsistencies with this couple, and I'm not sure what's going on here. Sophie and Rob, Sophie's 23, Rob is 32, so almost a 10-year age difference. Sophie is from London, England. Rob is living in LA, but I don't know where he's from originally. He hasn't actually told us that. One of my issues that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. We didn't get that much clear information about who Rob is, not as much as we did about Sophie. Sophie tells us that she grew up wealthy. She does Instagram modeling, let's be honest. You can tell from the photos she shared, they're not like modeling in magazines or commercials. If they were, she would have shown their Instagram modeling. But hey, listen, God bless, you can make money from Instagram modeling. So content creation. She's also biracial, black and white, but she was raised in Spain. And unfortunately, she dealt with a lot of bullying and racism and rejection, and she felt ostracized, which is quite unfortunate. Just it's a shame at this point, like that some biracial people are still experiencing this because you hear from older biracial people. Mariah Carey talks about this growing up experiencing these things, and I would have hoped that things could have changed by now. But I guess in a place like Spain that is not diverse, that everyone is Spanish, everyone is white, that that's not the case. So it's unfortunate. But she said it made her who she is today. She's resilient. That's great. Now, that's the other thing. Something that she says that she and Rob have in common is that he experienced racism and feeling ostracized as a biracial person as well. But when we meet him, he doesn't mention that, or at least the producers do not show him saying any of that. So I don't know. I don't know if like that's the case for him or not. I'm not sure why the producers didn't show him talking about that. But she said they connected over those experiences. Um, so he lives in Inglewood. Um, again, we don't get from him where he grew up. We don't get what he does for a living. Now, he's probably an influencer and also an Instagram model as well, but why didn't he just say that? She said that. He said what she did, or why didn't they show him saying that? I didn't understand why this man's um what he does for a living is not was not clearly told to us. Why he's living apparently in poverty was not explained. It's just it's giving that he's an actor or that this is a setup and it's not real. Because every other person that we met this episode told us who they were, what they did, where they were from, except him. I mean, he's from LA, but he didn't say this is where I grew up, this is what I do for a living, this is why I'm in this situation. I don't know. So when we met him, he immediately just said, think he said he was biracial, or we were just made to assume that because we could look at him and assume it. And then he started talking about how they hooked up. He didn't really talk. Oh, and he just said that he wants a really good looking woman, and for some reason he thought he'd be judged for that, or that that's a revelation. Um, I think most of us out here want to be with people that we're physically attracted to and who are physically attracted to us. I don't think that that's abnormal or something that anyone would be judging him about. Um, so I don't know why I don't know why he thought that that was something that he needed to defend. But anyways, now if this is real and he actually is broke, what he may be defensive about is the fact that at the end of the day, if you're a man who wants a baddie, you probably need to have money. So if maybe that's, but I don't know if I believe that he's broke, just not because he couldn't be broke, but just because of the way he's being presented. It's not making sense. They're not explaining to us what his situation is. They didn't tell us what he does for a living. They didn't tell us why he's in this situation. Like it just doesn't make sense. So, so Sophie tells us how they met. Well, they both do. They met on Instagram, and apparently they ended up talking on video chat for 8 hours. And I was so confused because I was like, wait, what? 8 hours? But I mean, wow, okay, but yeah. So so apparently she came over to the US and she stayed with him for about 2 months. So she sees where he lives. I don't know. I don't know if this is real though. It just didn't make sense why they didn't tell us what he does. She said she's an influencer. She said that she is an Instagram model. So he could have said the same thing, or why the producers didn't show us that. Um, I just don't know how real this is. I don't know if he's really living in this situation. I don't know if this is authentic. Um, and also what doesn't make sense is if she comes from money, she says she has an apartment, she's taken care of by her family financially. Why wouldn't he just move to the UK to live with her? Yeah, like, or like, and if they wanted to be on TV so bad, they could do 90 Day UK, or they could have did the other way. Like, I don't understand. It doesn't really make sense. And so then her mom doesn't like him, and I think it's just because he's not high earning, or they're presenting it to us like he's not. Also, her friend doesn't like him, but the friend liked him at first, but she stopped liking him because apparently after Sophie left the US after she stayed with him for 2 months, some girl messaged her saying, "Oh, look what your boyfriend's doing," and apparently the girl sent like videos that he had sent to her, some other girl, um, like sexual videos. So, and then his friend doesn't like Sophie because he says that he saw her on Bumble, which Bumble is a dating app, if you don't know, and it has a side for dating, but it also has a side for meeting platonic friends. So he was like, "Oh no, she's on that side." But she was on that side. And so I'm gonna say this with a friend, I was like, I think either one of two things is going on. Either this is also not real because the way the friend, I don't know, his response wasn't coming off as very authentic to me. I was like, he said, "Oh, I met her and she was nice, but she's kind of young and she was on Bumble." Like, I feel like if he was talking to other girls, she might have been like, "Oh, he's not serious, so let me get on here," or maybe she was on the friend side. I don't know, but I just feel like that wasn't a bad enough reason to dislike her. So again, I don't know if this friend is putting on, if this guy's acting as well. If he's not, he's giving like I think he's a hater. I don't know. Something's off with the way that Rob was presented. I don't know if everything we're getting from him is real or authentic. It's giving some fakery is going on. So I don't know, but um. I don't understand why he wouldn't just go over there. It doesn't make sense. If she has money, why is she gonna come over here and struggle with him? Like, I don't get it. And then she also like just randomly tells her friend that she's bisexual and that he's a little concerned that like he hasn't explored that. She hasn't like had a relationship with a girl, had a girlfriend yet. So she's a little concerned about doing that and getting married. And I'm like, well, if you're concerned about that, you maybe don't want to get married yet. You're 23. See, because the other thing that needs to be acknowledged is like sometimes people who are full-blown gay at first think they're bisexual and then they go and they date and they realize they're gay. And I'm not saying she's gay, but what I'm saying is if she at least dated a girl, she could figure that out. And she could know, oh no, I do like girls and guys, or no, I think I like girls more. So, but you can't know for sure if you haven't even tried dating a girl. So mm, I don't know. I think that will end up not being that important, but she probably needs to at least talk to him about that. She almost mentioned like an open relationship, and I'm like, you don't have to do that. Just don't get married. So, yeah. All right. We got to talk about Gino and Jasmine. I would have liked a break from this couple. Just watched them on Before the 90 Days. They're a lot. I'm over them. I just would have liked the break. They could have put them on season 11. They really could have. They could have waited till next year. But if you're not familiar with Gino and Jasmine, they're a hot mess. They did the introduction of them, and they're so toxic. But I don't know. I don't know if Jasmine is puts on and does extra, But anyways, so we open and we see her having her bachelorette party. Her homegirls are celebrating her getting married, coming to the US to finally be with Gino. They got her they got her a penis balloon with a hat on top to represent Gino. Oh, that was so funny. I cracked up at that. That was hilarious. Jasmine also says she doesn't like traditional handsome men. because she gets insecure or jealous. And I was like, okay, that's a lie because you like Dane. Dane was her ex-boyfriend who was on the last season of Before the 90 Days, really handsome. Oh my gosh. But the thing is, I want women to understand this, that this is not a wise approach to take. Now, first of all, it's BS. Number one, it's BS because um if you're just being introduced to Gino and Jasmine, they actually met on a sugar baby, sugar daddy website, and they admitted that on the tell-all for their first season. So, bottom line is just that she was looking for a man who would take care of her, and that's fine. And usually when you're doing that, looks are not at the top of the list. Let's be honest. They're not a priority. So that's really what this is, in my opinion. But also, if I know multiple things can be true at the same time. And if she does mean this, it's not wise. And ladies, don't follow this type of approach because a man who wants to cheat will always have the audacity. Okay, he will, no matter what he looks like, especially if he's unattractive physically. Um, so it really doesn't matter if he's good looking or not. If he wants to cheat or he thinks he can find somebody else other than you, he'll be able to do that, whether he's broke or not, or however he looks. The other thing is there will always be a woman desperate enough, willing and ready to cheat with a man. So it really doesn't matter what he looks like. This is not a to think that a man is so unattractive that nobody will want him is flawed. Okay. So anyways, um so yeah, she talked about how in the last season they had to reschedule her visa interview and she was upset about that, but it worked out. She's here in the US. Gino's taking a sabbatical from his job so he can be there for her. This proves once again that he's, wealthy. He's living off savings and the money from the show and his stock portfolio. So that's why he's able to take this time off. Um, and then but he's saying he's worried about her reacting to that. And this again is giving me fraudacity because of course she's gonna want you to spend time with her, and of course you have the money. Like we're not dumb, Gino. You couldn't quit your job if you didn't have any money. I mean, he's saying it's gonna be a little more tight, but I don't believe him. So, anyways, so then she's with her girls. They're having the bachelorette party and she does look like she's having fun. It's nice to see her with other people because when we see her with her family and friends, she never acts the way she acts with Gino. She always acts like more normal. When we see her with her family and friends, she acts, well, not always. Like the one scene with her sister when she was crying, I was like, Lord have mercy. And we still don't know how old her sister really is, but she looks 16, you know? So anyways, so she was telling her homegirls that she spent the money he gave her for her dress on butt implants. And then I said to myself, okay, I so I had looked up the value of the Panamanian currency to the US dollar and it's almost the same. So I'm like, how much we know that certain cosmetic procedures like surgical ones, not the inpatient ones where they just inject you with something, like the ones where you have to actually go under the knife, which butt implants is one of them, can cost tens of thousands of dollars. So if the Panamanian dollar is equal to the US dollar, she's probably paying the same amount there that she would be here, or at least close. So I find it hard to believe that Gino would have given her 50 grand for a dress or 20 grand or 10 grand. Like, come on. This is giving fraud too. But anyways, we get to see her with her son, one of her sons for the first time. I didn't think we'd see her children on the show. She's mentioned her kids a couple times, but I didn't think we'd see one of her kids on the show. Um, so she's telling, she says that she has two sons and she has a great connection with the oldest. And I was like, wait, do you not have a great connection with your younger one? But I don't know. So she's telling her son that she's going to be going to the US. Apparently, she said that her ex-husband is okay with her also bringing her sons. She said after she gets to the US, she wants to work on bringing her sons here. and her exes are okay with that, or her ex. And I was shocked because I was like, what father would want to be away from his kids like that? I'm really surprised that her ex is okay with that. But anyways, her son, she asked him how he feels about her leaving, and he was like, I'm okay. Great, mom. Like he had no, he was like, you don't feel sad? And she had tears in her eyes. And of course she's gonna miss her son. And her son was like, no, I'm not sad. Like I guess he understands, she had already told him that she was planning to come to the US. So he just seemed okay with it, which was a little surprising to me because it makes me wonder how much she's in his life because she does say she spends a lot of time with him, but why was his reaction so detached? He's a little boy. Like to be away from your mother at that age, like it makes me wonder if you rarely around him. I don't know. Anyways, so then Jasmine gets upset about this message on Instagram that Gino's sister-in-law sent. She sent a message and she was like, "Oh, don't get married between these dates because we're gonna be out of town. We're gonna be on vacation." And Jasmine didn't like this because she felt like it was rude and it was like ordering her. Now, let me say this. I understand why Jasmine didn't like this. She showed it to us. It was abrupt. The woman didn't say, "Hey Jasmine, how are you? I'm talking to Gino about your wedding. Can you just keep in mind when you decide on the dates that we're going to be out of town and we really want to make it to your wedding?" She could have said that. That would have been polite and respectful, but she just said, "We're going to be out of town. Don't get married on these dates." That was abrupt. That was rude. Um, and I'm not mad at her for bringing it up to Gino. I don't like that Gino didn't acknowledge that it was rude. Just because it's your family member doesn't mean you can't call them out when they're wrong. You can literally just say, okay, yeah, she could have said hi. She could have been, but he acted like it was okay for her to just be abrupt with Jasmine like that. But with that being said, at the same time, I do think Jasmine could have just let this go. I don't, you do have to pick your battles in relationships, and especially whether you're marrying someone or when it comes to their family, you cannot just take everything and turn it into a huge argument and a fight. Um, so I do think she could have just said, "Hey," she could have been more polite, and but I'm gonna let it go because I want to be at peace with everybody. Um, so yeah, but he told her, "Oh, they didn't mean anything by it. You need to have compassion for them." And I was kind of like, "Wait, compassion for what? What do you mean?" So yeah, she went into her crying and her hysterics and her yelling and all that stuff she likes to do. And I fast forwarded through that because I don't find that entertaining when it comes to her. It was kind of funny and shocking when we first met her, but I'm over it at this point. Like I said, I could have gone without Gino and Jasmine this season. I really could have had a break from these two, but here they are. So, and I know what to expect with them anyway. So now let's talk about the last couple we got introduced to. Nicole and Igor. Uh, the man's name is Igor, and this woman calls him Justin because she said when she met him that he looked like Justin Timberlake. I don't feel right calling this man Justin because that's not his name. So Nicole and Igor. Nicole is 47. I am not sure how old Igor is because they did not say his age, but I heard somebody in another review say he was 35. I'm not gonna say that for sure until that gets confirmed when we meet him, because I he definitely looked younger, and I said to myself when I was watching, he looked like he was in his 30s. He doesn't look, super young, but definitely look. I mean, he could be 40. He could have great skin. I don't know. So we'll see. Um, Nicole is from New Jersey. Igor is from Moldova. Um, I don't know what Igor does for a living, but Nicole says she is a hairstylist and an MUA and makeup artist, but she also makes music. She's a rapper or something like that. Like, yeah, we always have to have somebody like that on this show. Um, he has done a lot of plastic surgery. I feel like I've seen Nicole before. There is a YouTube channel named, well, it used to be named Barcroft, but now it's named Truly, I think, and they have a lot of like unique people like somebody who like like they have people in couples that are like really unique. Like there's a woman who lives as a baby. There's like a guy. There's people who have like tattoos from head to toe. There's all kinds of like um abnormal individuals, some people who did the abnormal things to themselves, like the plastic surgery and the tattoos, and some of them are just like, born with things like, and then they have like abnormally tall people. So I think I've seen Nicole on that channel. She looks familiar. Like I think I've seen her on that channel. And it would make sense because she said she's gotten every plastic surgery, plastic surgery procedure, whatever you want to call it, cosmetic procedure that you could get. So I think she's been on that channel because she looks familiar to me. Now, Nicole is also a trans woman. She says that she feels good about herself now, and um, that's great. That's all that matters. I know that there's people who probably look at her because you can look at her and see the plastic surgery. You just can. The body, the butt implants, the breast implants, the way her body is shaped. I don't want to say no one looks like this, but the way that everything is distributed, you can tell plastic surgery has been done. She said something like, "How else was I going to get these curves?" And I'm like, I mean, there's a lot of women actually who have those curves naturally. But it looks natural because the whole body looks. But anyways, um, so Nicole transitioned a while ago, actually, maybe like 20 plus years ago. She did the surgery, gender transition surgery, and she used to live what she called in stealth. She wouldn't tell anyone about her status, and that changed recently. Said she didn't even have any trans women friends, no gay friends, but that's different now. Um, and so she actually had been in a relationship with a Russian man, but he was like a criminal. He committed crimes in the US and he got deported. Um, but she ended up going over there and the guy was dealing with another girl. He did a pop in, she didn't tell him he was coming, and so that was a wrap. So she went to meet another guy and she met Igor, who she likes to call Justin. This is in Moldova, home of someone else from this show whom I do not like. Um, I can't stand what's this? I don't even want to say his name. Anyways, so um so she got with him and they got together and she ended up bringing him back to the US on the K-1 visa, but they ended up breaking up and 2 weeks after he got to the US, I believe he left. They were arguing because he wasn't cooking, he wasn't cleaning, he wasn't helping her out around the house. She was doing everything. And during one of their arguments, she blurted out and revealed that she was born a man and born a male. And obviously that was awful for him. So he left, and it's understandable. I don't think I have to um, re-emphasize that not telling someone if you're trans early on that that's your status is wrong. The other true trans people, we have three other trans people that have been on this show. They all told the people up front they didn't do that. So, and also revealing it the way she did was also wrong. Um, in the moment of an argument or in a way that she thought might hurt him or something, that was just dead wrong. So now, a few years ago, after did she say she had a breakup and he reached out randomly? So, um. So they reconnected in Mexico and now he's coming back to the US again, apparently, but she wants to go over there first to see, if he is able to fully accept um her being trans and ready to come to the US. So yeah, so then the other issue, the only other thing that was brought up is well, two things. His mom, who now knows that she is trans. Apparently, the mom initially supported the relationship, but now I guess she has concerns. Um, and then she also is concerned about their sex life. She's not sure if he's comfortable sleeping with her as much when he didn't know about her trans status. Apparently, she said their sex life was great, so I don't know. We'll see. Um, and he's also concerned about her being clocked, which I don't know about that. I don't know if that'll happen because it's a little funny that he's saying that because she wasn't clocked before. Like she's been there, she lived there, she wasn't clocked. So why would she be clocked now? So yeah. Um so yeah, that was episode one. I think we might have two or three more couples we're gonna be introduced to next week. Um it was a decent episode one. So we'll see how it goes next week. All right, thanks for listening, guys. Bye.